God is only
there
planning for one? Like, what? You know what I mean? It's like, is there really multiple possibilities if God's only planning for one?
Is it a difference of him planning for you to do something, or just your choice and you know it, or him knowing?
I stick by my opinion before, and my theory is that God allows us to choose whatever, and He is prepared for any single situation, every single decision that we can ever make. He has a path for that.
But He doesn't know.
I think He's like,
I don't think he knows.
Why wouldn't
I
he
don't
know?
think He knows though. Or I think there's a difference between like.
If he doesn't know, it'd have to be something he chooses not to know, because it's within his power to know.
I would believe
So
that
we'd
He
have to
would,
actively
because I feel like
choose
because
not
He's
to.
also calling us co-creators. We're co-creating with God, and so
Wait.
it takes out the what?
Which scripture says that?
Co-creating with God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember I did a whole entire study on that.
Oh.
But and there was like a sermon preached about it too. I remember. But I can look it up. But like that we're supposed to be co-creators with God. Like we present our request to God, and then He either accepts, says no, or says not yet. You know, all those different types of things. But we're always talking to God, always trying to work with Him. It's not just Him, you know, doing this with our lives and we have no say. It's like, no, God genuinely wants to hear what we feel like and what we want and what our desires are and what would we like to happen. And I think that all of that stuff is stuff that it just, to me, it takes out the fun of the relationship with God if He just knows everything that I'm going to do. I genuinely think that takes out the enjoyment in it. I just, you know what I mean? It's like, it almost feels like it does take away my freedom and my free will, because it almost means like it's not free. It's predestined, it's pre-picked, I just don't think that's it. I just don't believe that is how He works.
Okay.
I just don't think that, you know, because then there wouldn't be multiple possibilities. You know, He's like, here's all of these choices, you have free will. And it's like, but I know exactly what you're going to choose, so I'm just waiting for you to choose it. All right, come on, choose it. And then, all right, cool. And then, like, what? That is not God. You know what I mean? I just don't believe that that's God.
So you think He chooses not to know? But
Yeah, I think He actually has enjoyment in figuring out what we're going to decide. Like, you know, He's like, oh, we make the wrong choice. Okay, He feels sad for us because we suffer consequences of our bad choices, so He has to pick us up again. All
giving
of
God
those
a
things,
human
but
conscience.
right, God is made from we're made from God's image, and so I think that we don't do that. Like, my parents don't know what decisions I'm gonna make. My dad doesn't know what decision I'm gonna make. You know what I mean? It's like,
But they're human.
yeah, but at the same time, I think it's also emulating a relationship that we have with our God, with our own fathers, or with our own, you know what I mean? Like, every relationship is emulating different parts of our relationship with God.
Yeah.
So I do feel like that is fine to say, that God also emulates that part of the relationship as well. I think He chooses not to know. I think He has the power to know. I think He definitely, if He wanted to, He could know, but I just don't think He does.
I think, can we agree that God has free will?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, He can do whatever He wants at any
Yeah.
point? Yeah. Yes.
Make whatever decision he wants?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
You think He's tied to something?
Nope. God had free will, like you say. Like, could do whatever He wants. Well, I mean, let's see. This is confusing because I think God does have free will, but if He used His free will to sin, He would not be God. Like, God can't sin. Otherwise, He wouldn't be God.
Yeah. It's true.
So, I mean, if He can't, then that's technically not free will.
Do you think?
So you think free will is tied to the ability
To be able to sin?
Yes. That's what He gave us. He said, hey, don't eat the apple. And they very clearly disobeyed, and that was sin, and that was free will in action. So,
I think we're tying human emotions and the human conscience to God,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense.
so what kind of free will do you think God has?
I don't think we will know that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because where in Scripture does it say anything about that?
About what?
About how God views His personal free will or His personal actions?
Well,
I don't think-
it says he loves us.
I don't think the concept
based
of
on
free
that.
will applies to him.
What do you wait? Whoa! What?
Like free will is a gift given to us.
Yeah.
So I don't think God is in the bounds of free will. Or
In the
not.
bounds.
Yeah.
But
That
free
doesn't
will,
apply to him.
Or it doesn't apply to him whatsoever.
free will means there's no bounds. It means you can make any decision.
Yeah. And you said he doesn't have it. So.
Well, yeah, he could.
think that's-
And even Jesus was tempted. He like,
All right.
and even the devil wouldn't waste time on Jesus if he didn't think that Jesus had the capability to sin,
So
right?
Are you going back on what you said?
No. Like I'm saying, he can, but he just doesn't.
Because he
Oh, but you
chooses
said he
not
can't
to.
before.
He what?
But you said he can't before. Are
Well-
you changing it now?
Based on the definition of free will, if we're talking about free will in terms of like you can do it, so you do it, then I don't think he has free will. But
I don't think that's what it is, though. I think it's, does he have the ability to sin? Yes or no? Can he choose to do it? Sure. Does he? Never. You know what I mean?
well, how do you know that he can if he's never done it before?
Okay. Valid.
That's what I'm saying. Because like I like you said, I don't think we can know. But if we did more digging, we might know. You know.
I think it's a cool topic. I don't think
Yeah.
we'll know for sure. We can get, like I said, we can gather all the pieces we want. We can
Mm-hmm.
form a really good picture. I don't think we'll ever know, like fully. To
Wait,
be
why?
honest with you. It's not within our capabilities right now. I think when we get to heaven and we can have a conversation with him, sure, we'll have unlimited knowledge.
Oh, wait. You think we'll have unlimited knowledge when we'll get to heaven?
Not in that sense. Not in that sense. Just more.
We'll
that
have
was-
the,
that
we'll
was- that
have
was an
the ability
exaggeration.
to ask anything and
That
everything.
was an exaggeration. I don't know that. I'm for sure. I for sure know that we're gonna have more knowledge than we do now.
See, here's the thing with knowledge and going to heaven and gaining more knowledge. I had this conversation with a Mormon a long time ago, and she said the only reason we're going to heaven is so that we can get more knowledge, so that we can have all the knowledge. That was the same
The
thing.
only reason? That's
Well,
literally it?
Not really, but she said like we're going to heaven so that we can have all the knowledge, and that was the same temptation that fell upon Adam and Eve when they ate the apple. That's what Satan said. He's like, hey, you can be like God. You can know things.
Which is ironic because they already were like God.
Exactly. So like the only that's probably one of the temptations of sin is to have all the knowledge and to be like God,
Yeah.
to know everything.
That's true.
And if it is to be like God and God knows everything, therefore he knows free will, therefore he knows what we're gonna do. Therefore he knows the path we will take.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
I didn't follow that. That was too fast. I didn't follow what you said.
That's-
Like basically if having all the knowledge in the world means being like God.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, that means that God has all the knowledge and that he knows everything.
Okay.
If God knows everything, he knows what path we will take. If God knows what path we will take, then
I think he has the ability to know everything, but I think there's some things that he chooses not to know for the sake of us truly feeling free to make our own choice.
so you think he withholds knowledge from himself so that we can feel free?
If God has the knowledge of good and evil, why wouldn't he be able to sin?
What do you mean?
That's what I said.
If God has the knowledge of good and evil, why wouldn't he be able to sin?
Yeah, like
Can you elaborate?
earlier you were saying God is not able to sin. And that's why he doesn't have free will.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Because in the garden, they didn't eat, right? So they were made in God's image. They were, I don't know, there was no sin, right? When Adam and Eve were first on the planet, there was no sin. They lived a perfect life with God. They literally lived with God in the garden, like such intimate connection, the most intimate possible. You know what I mean? There was
Yeah.
no shame, there was zero guilt, there was no sin, there was nothing. It was perfect. And then Satan comes in and ruins it all, and then provides them with the knowledge of good and evil. So therefore, before they were like God and they didn't know evil. And so did God not know evil either until they ate the fruit?
What?
Do you know what I mean? Like if they were like God at the beginning and they didn't know the knowledge of evil.
Well, they made them like God, but they weren't God.
No, they were like God though, right? Like
Yeah.
God?
Like God, in his
Right.
image.
Right.
They were in his image, but
Uh-huh.
clearly God isn't a human being.
Yeah. There's still limitations to what we can do versus what God can do, yeah.
So I think that's one of them.
Well, who put the tree there?
God.
Yeah. He knows what he created.
Okay, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure he knows very well good and evil. Lucifer is his son.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has knowledge. Whether or not he chooses not to know something or not, I don't know. That's a very good question. It's very cool. I don't think we'll ever know. I think it's a cool idea. Like I said before, our human consciences, I feel like we're just going to have a very difficult time understanding God. At least the way he thinks.
I know that I'm just gonna say that if I found out that God knew every single decision that I was gonna make before I made it, I would be disappointed. That's just what I feel.
What if that's the case?
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, that's sad.
Will that change anything?
No, it wouldn't change anything. Just like there are things my parents do that I'm just disappointed with, but it doesn't change that I love them or not. It doesn't change the love. It just makes me feel a certain emotion. That's all.